This speech will be about the ethical responsibilities between members of a group, specifically as it relates to the Apollo 13 mission. It makes me think of the social compact, which is a set of rules that rational people would follow, provided everyone else follows them too. But I don't think that's what makes the world go round. I think it's more about good people doing the right thing on a consistent basis. What struck me about this movie was the number of groups, not just the astronauts or the crews at NASA. In fact, there were 14 group leaders in mission control alone. The flight director illustrated this clearly when he said, I want to talk to the designer of every circuit, switch, transistor, and then I want to talk to the guy on the assembly line who actually built the thing. When that man said failure isn't an option, I don't think it was his job he was worried about. In the meeting of the minds to figure out how to bring the crew home safely, all of the aspects of the group dynamic were represented, except perhaps, of course, the tension reliever. There was even a shirker, a man from Northrop Grumman, who had built one of the modules that was sort of hid in the back of the room, slouched down, had a cloud of smoke around him. He was called out by one of the gatekeepers, and still the only thing he'd offer to the group was, I can't guarantee anything, we only designed it to land on the moon. In that room, the flight director kind of stepped away from his authoritarian role that he had in mission control and took on the roles of evaluator, harmonizer, and encourager. Well, the astronauts clearly feel an ethical obligation to one another. Ken Mattingly, the pilot, who was responsible for bringing the ship up, docking it, landing it, undocking it, and bringing it back to the Earth safely, wouldn't settle for anything less than perfection in the simulators. Even when he got it right, he still felt he could do better, because he felt he owed it to the other members of his crew. He was bumped from the mission because of a risk of measles. They didn't want him getting sick. So during the disaster, he was back in mission control. He actually spent days in the simulator in the cold and the dark, trying to get the feel that they had up there, figure out a power-up system, bring them back safely. When the crew and the damaged ship was 56 miles from the moon, Fred Haise and Jack Swigert were staring intently out the window, looking because they were so close to their goal they felt they could reach out and get it. And Fred Haise said, I wouldn't mind going down there and doing some prospecting. And Commander Lovell turned to them and said, Gentlemen, what are your intentions? Because I'd like to go home. And instantly reestablished a consensus and got them refocused on what their mission had become. A successful mission to land 3 men on the moon and bring them back safely was a monumental undertaking. During the disaster, it took the efforts of a massive number of people, countless hours, for days, to bring a small group of men home that they had never met and probably never would. And I don't think it was their jobs they were worried about.